episode with Santa here on the show.
Santa has joined us. Yes.
Yes, right on.
Is this
Well, hey.
is this the last show before Christmas, Noel? Or
Yeah, actually it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's the last show
good,
before
good.
Christmas, guys.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be getting
You
some
are
eggnog
on.
out or something then.
Yeah, I need some eggnog, spiked eggnog.
No, you're on.
I'm gonna get Susie to get me some eggnog just for you guys. A little bit of Bailey's.
Bring us
Come
a
on,
few
Susie.
more if you would, please. Thank you very much. So, hey, guys, we are live. Here we are. We are live on air. So, hello, Knockout Nation. Welcome to Knockout Show. I'm your host, Noel Clubb, here on the Barnburner Network on ZingoTV channel 250. Please remember to download both the Barnburner and ZingoTV apps from the respective iOS and Android app stores, as both apps are absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave a comment because we want to hear from you people. Yes, we do. And while you download, please make sure to rate, leave a comment, as I said before, because we want to hear from you folks. And ZingoTV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks, and Roku sticks, or also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. So welcome to the show, everybody. How's everybody doing so far?
Thank you.
Noel.
So far, so
Hey,
good.
all good. Want to go around the panel here and introduce you guys. So first of all, let's start with a gentleman in the corner, down the corner there. He's a longtime sports anchor and a very iconic sports anchor, that sports commentator, and a former boxer with, of course, Boxing Canada. Please welcome the one, the only, Mr. Joe Tilley.
Hey, Joe.
Hey guys. Hey,
There he
Noel.
is.
Good to see you, y'all. Good to see y'all. You looking
Good to
good?
see you. Good to see you, sir. So I understand it was it's actually your birthday was yesterday. Was that true?
That's right. You heard right. You heard correctly. The little bird
Well,
that
happy
told you
belated
was not
birthday,
lying.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. It was actually a really good birthday. My grandson over. We
Oh,
played
I've seen the
my
photos.
grandson
I've
over.
seen the photos.
Yeah, he's pretty special.
Are you in the 50 club now, Joe? Or
Oh, I'm way past that, man.
30 club. It's a 30 club.
Oh, keep
Again.
keep going, keep going. I'm way up there.
well, you look 50, so that's what.
Yeah,
counts.
well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're looking good.
I'd take that. I'll take that. I'll take
No, they
50.
older than 50. No, no, they older than 50. No.
Well, I met you in 1982, Joe. So in 1982, I was 14. You were 46. So
Oh, a little shot
Exactly.
there. A little shot there.
Yeah, 30. So that makes
He's
me
24.
84. That makes me 84.
Basically, he's like
That's
Benjamin
right on.
Button. He's looking good.
Great. Yeah, definitely. So, Joe, tell us about your new show, man. Give yourself
It's
a little plug here.
Joe Tilley Sports, and we have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This past week we had Tracy Murray on,
Yeah.
former Raptor. Week before that we had Wendell Clark. Before that we had Ronnie Ellis. This week coming up we got Rick Vive,
oh,
Very
former
cool.
Leafs captain, who just wrote a new book. So he's going to be on the show talking about his new book and talking about his Maple Leafs career. Wow, he's a little bit of this. He was also he played for Toronto in the WHA.
Right.
They became the Birmingham Bulls, though. They couldn't stay in Toronto because there was a conflict there with the Maple Leaf Gardens, and they wanted to make him play at I think it was the old Coliseum, and it just wasn't going to work out. And so they ended up moving to Birmingham, Alabama.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, that's part of his story. He's got a very interesting story. So
Definitely.
tune
So
in Wednesday,
Tune in Wednesday. What time Wednesday?
1:00. We normally it's a Thursday at 1:00, but we're going to do the show on Wednesday because it's the day before Christmas Eve. So the 23rd.
Excellent, sir.
Yeah.
Be sure to catch it, folks. Joe Tilley.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
On.
Also on Barnburner. So Facebook
that's
Live
right,
and
also on
Barnburner.
Barnburner.
It's all over. Yep.
Gotta catch it.
There you go.
So next, we're gonna move on. We're gonna introduce. He represents Canada as a featherweight and later as a lightweight boxer in 3 consecutive Olympic Games, as we were talking about earlier. Barcelona 92, Atlanta 96, and of course Sydney 2000. Please welcome the one and the only Mr. Mike Strange.
Woo!
Woohoo! There he is,
Golf clap.
live in person. And moving on. He is a longtime matchmaker and box promoter and owner of Dakota Fight Night, based out of Calgary, Alberta. Joining us from his home in Calgary, please welcome Michael, Mr. Boxing Calgary Short. Welcome, sir.
Thanks,
Woohoo.
Noel. Thanks for doing these. Always a good day to talk boxing.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Across the nation here, as always, on this show.
Mm.
Always. And what's new with Michael, by the way? What's new with Michael?
Which Michael?
Or Mike?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Everything's
Who's new?
new.
Pick
Too
one.
long to talk about though.
Oh, wait. What have you been up to these days? What's been new with you?
You know, trying to get through day to day with COVID because you can't really plan too much activity. Casinos, they bought the Tyson show in advance and then they're closed down. So it's tough. You just got to focus on what you have control of, and that's it. So we've got a lot of boxing worldwide. I'm a regular on Sportsnet, and I'll talk boxing all the time, just doing my part to just kind of keep it in the forefront. And that's all we can do. We know we're not going to host right now. You can't gripe about it. You just gotta flow with the go, and that's what I'm doing. So
Yeah, exactly, man. It's tough times for us, for everybody's days. Very tough times. Yeah, no doubt. And next on the panel here is a 10-time Canadian light flyweight boxing champion and 2-time Olympian. He's also the owner of Hollywood Filani Sportswear. Please welcome the one and the only Dominic Filani. Woohoo! There he is.
Guys, great to be back again. Great to be back.
Thanks for being on the show again. And what's new with Dominic? What have you been up to these days, man?
It's the Christmas season, so I've been working, as you see in my shop here. I've been working
Making presents.
steady, long hours trying to get some presents done for people and some orders out of the door, and and still spending time with the family. And
We're still waiting for our barn burner hats that we should.
That's right. And barn burner
Must be on back order.
As soon as this Christmas is over, we'll get you guys all hooked up.
Oh, right on. That's good to know.
So it's always fun to sit here and talk, take an hour out of my day and talk to you guys. It makes my week. So.
Well, right on. We really appreciate it as well. Because we know you're such a multitasking kind of guy. You're being interviewed here, then you're still working away. It's so impressive. So I'm glad you made some time for the show.
He's got the little elves in the background. We're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice job.
Yeah. I think he is one of the elves, but don't tell him.
Yeah, we'll keep it quiet. Don't worry. It's our secret.
You're not supposed to let the cat out of the bag here.
And next on this big knockout panel today, he won the gold medal as a light flyweight in the 1986 Commonwealth Games and reached the quarterfinals of the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea. Please welcome Scotty, the Bulldog Olsen. Yeah.
Thank you.
How you doing, sir?
I certainly did a lot more than that, but
Well, we know you did. You've been here for a long time with all you guys, actually.
An understatement.
Yeah. Like a lot of great pro fights and titles, and
no doubt.
I'm in a silly mood today, so you guys.
Well, good.
That's good.
Well, we see you've been really busy with interviews these days. I noticed, Scott. Even that.
Holy cow! Yes, they asked me. My friend, he's in the West Coast, and I think National West Coast Boxing Hall of Fame, Paul Banke. So I did a speaking engagement with some students, quite a few students in San Francisco. So
wow,
that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
I've been doing quite a few things. So
awesome.
Now I have to watch the fight. So
you know what you're going on.
My wife is getting mad. My wife is mad at me that I'm spending so much money on watching all the fights, but I have to so that I can talk on the show.
That's right. Get no ammunition now. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all good. All right. And then moving on. He's actually one of Canada's most decorated professional boxing champions with 6 title belts and the middleweight division with 26 wins and 13 KOs. Please welcome Mr. Fitz the Whip Vanderpool. It's Santa Claus. Santa Claus is here today, folks.
Santa Claus.
Welcome, Santa. So what's new with Fitz? Anything new with you, sir?
Mic on.
Fitz, I think you got your mic off, buddy.
Yeah, I think his mic's off.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, I think it is. We'll come back to Fitz.
Touch the screen, Fitz, and when you see your mic, hit that mic.
Yeah, hit that mic, sir.
Touch the screen, hit the microphone icon, and then you'll be good to go.
Fitz, look for the unmute button.
Unmute, man. Unmute.
The microphone.
You're still muted.
Yeah. Oh, we'll come back to him. That's no problem. We'll come back to him.
Noah, you always come up with a spectacular lineup of questions. It doesn't seem we always get to them though. So
Yeah, I know, eh?
maybe one day we can all write out our answers or something.
That'd be cool. Or if not, go for a
Great stuff.
2-hour show or something like that. I think that's more
Sure.
it's more the answer. A longer show.
Oh, here you go. Fitz is connecting the audio.
Oh,
We're
here
gonna
we
hear
go.
from him.
I
Here's
see
the whip
connecting.
now,
Yeah, I see some
tuning us
connecting.
in.
Mike is so true. Mike's it's so right though, because there's so many good questions that you sent out, and
Oh God, a lot of food.
we get about 2 of them done.
Yeah, we got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
If we're lucky.
They cover like
If
2
we're lucky.
questions a show.
You can see him for next week.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of
Yeah.
rotates and rotates.
Yeah.
We'll mail them in to you.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. Bill the answers back to me. I appreciate that. Right on. And next on the big panel today, he is the owner, head coach of No Excuses Boxing Fitness, located in beautiful Burlington, Ontario. Please welcome the one and the only Ryan Ranelli. Here he is, live in person. Ryan, how you doing, sir?
Very good, Noel. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure. I'm very honored. Thank you.
absolutely no problem at all.
Yeah.
So what's new with Ryan these days? What have you been up to, man?
Just working away at the gym, just trying to get members, and we I've been doing a lot of upgrades since we reopened in July,
Yeah.
and I've got just about all of the upgrades done just in time for another lockdown. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So, but we just got to kind of, as Michael said, flow with the go. Just
Yeah.
keep things going, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
looks
you can
great
do.
in the gym, by the way. So if you guys want to come train, come on out. It's awesome, man.
Very good. Very
Some bags
good.
now too, so it's looking good. But all is well, man. Spending a lot of
Excellent.
time with my son, outdoors, hiking, doing a lot of fun stuff, and we're gonna do some snowshoeing this winter. So lots to look forward to, even with lockdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We try to make the best of this, the circumstance, the situation, make the best of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what we can do. Go day by day. As mentioned earlier, we can't plan nothing long term or
Yeah.
short term, really. So, yeah, it's a day to day kind of thing. No doubt. So, did you guys catch the Canelo Alvarez fight with Colm Smith? You guys catch that fight the other night?
Absolutely,
Yes.
last night.
Excellent. Excellent. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that fight? Of course, I want to hear your guys' perspectives on the fight with Canelo. So, I'm going to start with Scotty the Bulldog Olsen. What are your thoughts on that fight, sir?
Well, I think one of the commentators, I can't remember his name, but one of the commentators I think had it pretty right. He was pretty much, what is this, Callum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
From the UK.
He was kind of on survival strategy there. He was trying though, I got to give them credit. I don't know if he's from like Ireland or something. Like, a tough boy, and he didn't quit. And I was really happy to see him fight back under some. He'd get hit a little bit, and he'd say, "No, I'm going to try a little bit." And he'd open himself up a handful of times, but he was still willing to throw some shots. So I was pretty proud of him. When I was fighting, and if I moved up into weight from, let's say, 112 to 118, I would have had to fight a killer. So with Canelo, as good as he is, and he's a great fighter, but moving up and stepping up to 168, and then fighting a guy that he was undefeated, 27-0, but was he one of the? Would he have done the same thing with, say, Joe Calzaghe?
Mm.
For sure he would have done and walked through him quite the same. I think Joe, and I thought that the fighter that Canelo fought, he stepped to get out of the way. He didn't have much fluidity in his movement. So I respect him as a fighter for sure.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, agreed there. Well, you, Mike, what are your thoughts on the fight there last night with Canelo and Smith?
Which stranger?
You
No,
be Mike,
it was,
I'll be Mike.
I really didn't know what to expect. It was nice seeing fans in the seats for a change. I think
Yeah,
it was
that's true.
10, 12,000 people. So that was good. And I'm sure it was good for the fighters, right? Just for the
Yeah,
atmosphere. And I couldn't
correct.
imagine going in the ring and having nobody fighting or cheering for you, and it would be not the same kind of type of atmosphere. But you know, I think Canelo handpicked his opponent. You know, you see Callum, and he was undefeated in that, but he didn't have that pop like a guy like a tall Thomas Hearns or something like that. So he never had his respect. And man, but you just look at Canelo and the transformation he's made from 154 up to 168. He's probably 185 by the time he got in there. Yesterday, 185 with 9. He was just massive, like bulked up, like it's crazy. And he's obviously a great fighter, and he's great at knowing his range. He just stays right. He's right there in the pocket and just can get out with an inch, 2 inch, come right back in. And the punches he was throwing, like I don't know if anyone saw at the end, but you saw Callum Smith had this big bulge on his left bicep.
Yeah, right.
It was humongous. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if he broke his arm or what, but it was just like getting hit with a baseball bat on his arms and that. And it was just, and I noticed the difference. Canelo back in 154 when he was more of a boxer, combinations. Now he just goes in and he's like throwing these thud big right hands, like 2 right hands in a row.
Yeah.
It's so he's turned into just a powerhouse and walking through punches. And could he do that against a guy like a Thomas Hearns or a Leonard at in that maybe a catch weight or something? I don't know. It just didn't seem like Callum Smith had that pop to his punches. Nothing to really worry about. And you look at the difference in their faces afterwards. I wouldn't even like to see Callum Smith today, because man, he took a lot of shots. Like if I was, you have his family in his corner, and I'm like, it's nice to last the fight, but God, you don't know what damage it could do in the future, because he took a lot of hard shots. Like if that was my brother or my father in the corner, I'm like, why the hell didn't you stop the fight, man?
Yeah, really.
But a good show all around. Like he's getting in the promotion business, obviously, Canelo, and he's hooked up with Hearn, and it looks like they have a nice package together. And it was, like I said, it was entertaining. I didn't have to pay for the fight, which was nice. Watched on DAZN, which is now I'd have to spend $80 like I did with the Tyson fight.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was entertaining in a time we needed it.
Yeah, and they're right on. No, well put as always. Well put as always. What about you, Michael Short? What do you think of that fight there with Canelo and Smith? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, similar. It was great to see a crowd. I know it was reduced crowd due to the virus, but good to see that they're getting the audience out there. Canelo, let's face it, he's developed. He's taken the time. He's well schooled at everything. He's becoming an elite. So he takes, let's face it, these are the guys of the generation, the Callum Smith, and this type of fighter. And he's a step above all of these guys. He's, taking over sort of the way that Mayweather did, becoming an elite guy. There's only a few people like that. Terrence Crawford's another one.
Yeah.
At welterweight. But this guy, man, he's got the total package. He sets punches together well. Creative with his combinations. He uses feints. He uses the jab to confuse you, and then all of a sudden he starts throwing a lead left hook, or he'll feint a jab and throw a left uppercut. So the guy's got great defense, great head movement, creates the angles. He's a fantastic fighter right now. I'd love to see him in with David Benavidez, and I think that could be a hell of a match. For both guys, and that's truly a lot more competitive than what we saw last night on both sides.
Yeah, agreed. I totally agree with you. And what were you, Dominic? What were your thoughts on last night's fight?
I thought Canelo looked really amazing, actually, because coming off the layoff, you don't know how well guys are preparing and how well they're training. And he looked really, really sharp. He was hard to hit. He was making some nice slips and slides. And even though he was up, you knew he was way up on the score. He kept fighting at the end. Like he kept trying to finish it and finish strong and take him out. And I was impressed, and I liked that aspect of his game. I didn't really know how he was going to handle the taller, longer reach fighter, but it was not even a problem whatsoever. And I thought he looked really good, really good.
Yeah, right on. And Ryan, what were your thoughts, man? What were your thoughts on the fight last night?
Yeah, man. I thought it was a great display of like boxing skill on Canelo's part for sure. No doubt there. But I just felt like Caleb, he lacked, all the respect to him. Like he definitely was trying, but I think he just lacked that level of boxing ability and power to kind of make it like a real exciting fight.
Yeah.
Although it was like a great display of boxing, Canelo was doing some real fancy stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
And even Caleb was too, but he just like he didn't have enough power to kind of like make it interesting. You weren't on the edge of your seat. You kind of just watched Canelo just slowly walk him down and slowly break him down throughout the whole fight. There was no moment where you were like, oh man, look at Caleb just came back and nailed him with a shot. Like there was never really, there wasn't anything that really stands out like that, right?
Exactly.
But
yeah.
I mean, so it wasn't like a fan favorite fight, but it was like, if you want to just look at like the art of boxing and like look at the skill of Canelo, like I mean, hey man, he put on a
clinic.
Sure, man, and his defense is pretty unreal. Like he was even like riding some shots. They were just glancing off. He was like right there
Yeah.
the whole time. So it was nice stuff. Definitely not a whole lot of excitement, as I said, but man, great skill, right?
Definitely. Definitely. It's a good display, I got to say. And Mr. Tilley, what are your thoughts?
But yeah, I think everybody's touched on it pretty much now. It's like Canelo's in a different class, the absolute minimal amount of movement that he has to do to get away from those shots, and saving his energy all the way through the fight, and just a complete package. He's in a different league altogether, different class altogether. You know what though? I do think Triple G's in that class. So I think Triple G's in that class, and I think that would be a fight. I mean, even though they fight twice already, I thought Triple G won the first time they fought. I really did. I thought he won that fight, and really surprised he didn't get the decision. And then I think I'd like to see them fight again. I'd like to see the trilogy capped with Triple G, because really there's no point. I maybe that's all that is just Canelo just biding his time, having another fight, and Golovkin the night before having his fight. Just setting this up so they can fight again, because I think that's the fight we want to see. These are guys that both of them are, and Mike also talked about Terrence Crawford, or maybe it's Dom anyway, Terrence Crawford, and maybe Errol Spence Jr. and Golovkin and Canelo. These are guys who are all in that best pound for pound fighter on the planet category.
Yeah.
And so those are the fights you want to see. You want to see the best against the best. And, coming off a layoff, take on Callum Smith. Smith was game, as was said, but, as Scotty said, but, he just outclassed by Canelo.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. It's just really a setup really for that Triple G Canelo trilogy fight, really. It's just kind of all about, was just the setup for that third matchup. When it came down to it. Well, good going there, guys. As always, very good. So I got to ask you guys too. We've been watching recently all these charity fights going on recently. Now it's another one, possible matchup between Tyson against Holyfield now, which is actually supposed to be the original lineup before Tyson and Holyfield, or Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. But now it's gonna be Holyfield, looks like, and with Tyson, sorry. And I just want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on these charity fights? Is this good for boxing, in your opinion, or is it not good for boxing? I'm kind of curious about your perspectives, being boxing purists like myself. We're going to start with Scotty first. Is it good for boxing or not good for boxing? Oh,
Mike.
On mute. He's on mute.
On mute.
You're on mute.
There you are.
There we go. There we go.
25 years, 30 years ago, I would have been really offended. Sincerely, I would have been offended by kind of sideshow things like this. But I had a blast watching the whole performance with the rappers, and I really enjoyed the exhibition. Just having a chance to see them both step in the ring again. I thought it was. I still think it was good for boxing in terms of allowing some of the up and coming people to at least see.
Oh, we lost him
Mike
again.
up, hit the mic again.
Oh,
you muted it again.
Oh, there we go again. There we go.
So there we go. So
They're back.
you know, I think they're good. I the other day from San Francisco, I called out Kevin Hart. So I'm hoping to get Kevin Hart to fight me
Calling everybody right there.
because he's boxing a little bit. The guy
Well,
got some skill, and
yeah.
if I can lose about 20 pounds, then I will fight them in one of those things. I think that would be fun. So
For
yeah,
sure.
I'm all for that kind of
He
stuff.
just
I really
lunged.
enjoyed it. I'm sorry.
Well, he's an amateur fighter. Kevin Hart was an amateur fighter.
I
Pretty
said
good.
he thought he's gonna eat his lunch.
Yeah, we're gonna go out. So Kevin Hart, I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
You're right here on the show. You've been called out, man.
Right on the
Yeah.
Barn Burner Network.
That's right.
We're the same size,
You're
I
live
think.
first.
Big scoop on the barn burner.
Exactly. Here on the show. These guys always pull little tricks out of his hat all the time on this show. Gotta love it. How about you, Mike? What are your thoughts on these fights? Is this good for boxing?
Well,
Or for boxing?
I was one of those suckers that paid $80 for the Tyson Jones fight, and it was nice to see in a time that we're in too. So you're looking for any kind of entertainment, and that's what they did. But you gotta. And I didn't know much about the basketball player and the YouTuber or whatever fighting.
Dave
but
Robertson.
like, man, these guys are the co-main event. Like it's ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? Like you're taking away people's shot at someone that's 20-0, and now you're getting Mayweather that's going to fight the brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Who's like 0-1-1, and I'm like, what kind of, who can sanction that type of thing? You know what I mean? It's just.
I agree.
So now you're taking away a guy who's 40-0 or 30-0 and wants that big $1 million shot or whatever they can do, and disappointing a bit. You know what I mean? I know it's entertainment, but it's almost like getting like professional wrestling. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, it is. It's like wrestling.
I like to see the Lomachenko, the Lopez, the one-on-one, but it's in the end, it's what the fans want, and they have a lot of followers on social media, and that's what's bringing the money in, and if people are buying it, I guess they'll keep doing it. So Holyfield and Tyson, if people want to buy it, they'll do it. You know what I mean? It's if Tyson wants another crack at his other ear, then we're gonna have to buy it, I guess.
That's right.
They can't finish the job. It's half finished, right?
That's right. Yeah. Here we go again soon. Exactly. And how about you, Mr. Short? What's your thoughts? Good for boxing, bad for boxing? What's your thoughts, sir?
Look, I'm old school. I've been in boxing since 1980. And you would think that I'd be against it, but I'm not. And I'll tell you why. It's literally, these guys didn't invent this kind of stuff, okay?
No.
The greatest of all time fought Lyle Alzado in, I think, 1979 at Dallas, or one of those stadiums, Denver, Colorado. So
yeah, it's Denver.
Alzado, a football guy. It was a real fight. There was 6 rounds. Muhammad Ali went to Edmonton. Remember Scotty Olsen? Yeah. They fought Dave Semenko, an Oilers tough guy.
Yep. Chuck
Wepner, the inventor or the inspiration for Rocky, fought him there. Yep. He fought Andre the Giant from wrestling. Yep. These are not new. So when these guys are going out there and they're using it as an exhibition, they're doing it like, well, of course, we want to see Tyson and Jones again. I mean, we're nostalgic about these types of fighters. Mike, Mr. Strange, you said about the YouTube guy. Yeah, but he's taking boxing serious. They're fighting at their level. So, for instance, they're fighting a basketball player. They're fighting another YouTube guy. Now, of course,
the one's fighting Mayweather now, though.
Yeah, the other guy now is fighting Mayweather, but
he doesn't even have a win. He has a draw and a loss.
Yeah, I know. So did Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor fought Mayweather, and it was a real fight. All the titles were on the line. It was sanctioned. Let's face it. Pete Rademacher fought Floyd Patterson on his professional debut, scheduled for 15 rounds in the 50s. Now, Pete Rademacher, not a lot of people know who he is or remember that name.
Right.
This was his debut. He had some success after that. Never fought for the title again, I don't believe. But this is boxing. It's not all that boxing has right now, but it's part of what's going on, and it's a bit of a sideshow. It's an attraction. It's drawing millions of eyes viewing boxing. My only beef, listen to this, my only beef with these things is that when they do have millions and millions and millions of eyes, of new eyes on boxing, they're doing a lousy job with the undercards. They really could put together something, really good quality matchups of up and comers. They could showcase some up and comers a lot better than what they do. So the matchmaking kind of stinks in that regard. But all in all, it's getting a lot of people tuning into boxing. It's showing you, a couple different sides with, these YouTube guys, the exhibitions, and that's all it is. So Mayweather fighting.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Rocky Balboa didn't deserve to fight Apollo Creed.
No.
No,
That's-
No.
And look what
No,
happened.
he was handpicked. He was handpicked. And he almost lost that fight. Come on.
Yeah.
But to have these kind of fights go and have these guys participating still, why would we be upset with Mayweather? We don't want to see him, walking around on his heels, telling people, "Oh, I used to be the champ." No, he's making millions of dollars. He's finished his career. He's healthy. He's wealthy. He's wise. He beat boxing. He's not in obscurity. He's going to be in Las Vegas, and he's going to have millions of people watching him. He's going to make millions of dollars to fight this guy. And hey, I would love to be one of his opponents too. I would love to.
I know we're just jealous. I'm not against it.
We're all jealous. We want that big payday too, for sure. How about you, Dominic? What are your thoughts, sir?
Hit the game,
I
right?
was in at the beginning. I was very, very against it. It was a sideshow. It's a joke. It's a circus. The whole bit. I got 4 boys. Not once did one of my boys say, "Dad, you want to come and we're going to watch a boxing match on TV? We're going to watch the big fight." Not once. They came to me and said, "Dad, can we buy pay-per-view at $89 to watch Logan Paul's fight?" I said,
Wow.
"Who?
Wow.
Logan,
Can
who?
we watch Logan Paul?" I have no idea who Logan Paul is.
That's pretty much about it too. That's the answer.
It's creating interest. Then they watch the fight. They're down here in the gym. They're working out. My phone rings off the hook for all these people that want to start boxing and join the boxing club, the whole bit, because they watched the Logan Paul fight or the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul.
Yeah. This Logan Paul fought before on DAZN. That was the first time that I seen this thing. And the hype that it got, the amount of eyes, like Mike Short was saying, the amount of eyes that were on the sport. Now, this is where the sport is got to really capture these people and show them, what, there's bigger, better events and fights and the whole bit. But I think it's great for the sport because it's bringing in a whole crew of people that just watch YouTube. I had no idea who Logan Paul, Jake Paul, any of these guys were. They're a household name, apparently. They're huge on TikTok and all this other stuff. And I think it's great for the sport because it's opening up a lot of doors. And just to capitalize on it, Mayweather is not a dumb man. He knows there's so much money involved in this. It's enough. It's a walk in the park for him.
Mhm.
And he can do pretty much whatever he wants. And the eyes of the world are going to be on him. And I think it's great. I think it's a joke, but I think it's working and it's great.
Yeah. No, it's well put.
Yeah, Dom, you mentioned about after watching the basketball player and that they're getting calls, they want to join, and it reminds me of when the first Rocky and Rocky 2 came out, and you get all those guys after seeing the Rocky and like, oh, I want to join boxing. You always get 10 or 20 kids down, and there's like,
true.
it would be hilarious, right? Because they would be like trying to chase chickens around the gym or something.
Yeah.
But they come in and first time they get hit, like, okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's enough of that.
But sometimes out of those 20 kids, one of them
one
will
person,
stay behind
exactly. Yeah.
and become a Mike Strange or a Scotty Olsen
Yeah.
or a Dominic.
Yeah, that's right.
So you never know.
I was one of those kids that went to the gym after the Rocky movie.
There you
one of them.
go.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
I always wanted to.
Scientific fact.
I always wanted to run on the street and have all the little kids follow me. Yeah, that was something else.
Did you ever run on the beach with your trainer in short shorts and have a sprinting contest?
We did that a lot of times in Hawaii, to tell you
Yeah,
the truth.
I was
We had
gonna
training
say
camp in Waikiki a few times. So me and Dom were on that beach, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
There's no beaches in Thunder Bay, is there?
Oh, we got beaches. They're
Yeah.
not hot. They're Lake Superior. We got beaches.
Nice.
And yeah, go ahead. I'll tell that after.
Oh, no problem at all. So it's always good to hear from you guys. How about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts?
Well, Michael Shore used my example with Chuck Wepner and the
That's a great
Bear. So
example.
now I got nothing to say. No,
Well,
but-
the Bayonne Blader, is that what they called him?
That's right. That was
Yeah.
a good name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I watched. I ordered the Tyson Roy Jones. I paid the money. They got me. They got my money. I didn't even see the fight. I fell asleep. So even worse. But yeah, no. You know what? I'm okay with it, man. Honestly, it brings eyes on boxing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Michael made a good point. They could do a better job with the undercard.
Yeah.
Maybe do something like they did have a real slick up and comer on there. I forget the kid's name, but he was real nice. Ended up stopping the guy, but maybe they should have done like maybe that YouTuber, YouTuber on, and then the up and comer, like the real prospect, an actual boxer there, and then space it out so that the people who are looking to watch the YouTuber also have to watch the real boxers.
Yeah.
In between, space it out strategically. That might be better to gain a little bit more people like that want to look at some real good boxing, right? And actually, that would be a good showcase of boxing, because you'd see how shitty the YouTuber looks, and then you see a real prospect, and then you're going, oh, wow, that's impressive, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, that could be an idea. But yeah, man, make all the money, do the gimmick matches, whatever, man. If it brings attention to boxing, then I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, they're right on. And over to Joe. Joe, what's your thoughts, sir?
Oh yeah, a lot of good stuff here. I hope the
Yeah, as
promoters are
always.
listening, because this is great. Some great advice, and what Ryan just said too about may having a couple of real prospects fighting in between, after Jake Paul or whatever fights Nate Robinson, then you got a real fight, and then you got and then you got Tyson against whoever. To me, it's like I think it's great. I mean, there's an old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Just spell the name right. That's the old saying, right? Just spell the name right. And it's like, if you're bringing eyeballs to the game, it can't be a bad thing. I mean, Don was just talking about how his kids like, Dad, I want to watch this fight. I want to watch Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I want to watch these guys fight. And because these guys are out there and they're mouthing off and they're calling people out, and so people are coming, they're fighting them, and it's theater for sure. And personally, me, I want to see how good Mike looks for a 54-year-old. I want to see what he looks like, and I just wish that Roy Jones had to come to fight instead of run, because we might have saw a pretty good fight there. And the fact that they called it a draw was ridiculous. I mean, there's no way in the world that was a draw. But anyway, and I want to see what Holyfield and Tyson do in their 50s. I want to see what they look like. I want to see what they can bring to the table at this age. I'm all for it. One of my favorite moments in boxing was when George Foreman knocked out Michael Moorer at 45 years old. That was one of my highlights. I just loved it. Yeah. Watching that guy at his age, after what he'd gone through, becoming a preacher and all the stuff that he went through, and the depression and everything else that he got through, and to come back and become heavyweight champion of the world again, to me, it was just an awesome moment for me. One of my favorite moments in boxing. And so I want to see what Tyson looks like now. I want to see what Holyfield looks like. I'm paying. I want to see it. So there you go.
Well, yeah, well done, guys. Well done, boys. So let's move on to one more question, because we're up to our 3-question limit already. You're on this fast show. So I'm going to ask you guys, because you're such an amazing panel with amazing experience. I'm going to ask you guys, what are some of your tips on influencing the judges and how to control the ring. I'm gonna go around the panel on this one. So how do you guys influence the judges? How do you control the ring in your fights? I'm gonna start with Mr. Scotty Bulldog Olsen.
You'll have to repeat that question for me. So
Oh,
the
sure,
judges, how they control the ring, or like
Yeah, how you control the ring. Yeah, how you influence the judges and how you control the ring from your
how do you influence the judges?
Yeah, you control the ring as well.
Well, I was pretty relaxed in there, so I would listen to the commentators a lot of times. Well, not when as an amateur fighter, but when I turned pro, and I could listen to Al Bernstein or whoever was doing the commentary. So I'd listen to what they were saying, and then if they said I should throw my jab a little bit more, then I would throw.
That's great.
So, but for judges themselves, I don't think there's any way of helping some of them. Some of them are just always going to pick the wrong rounds for the wrong fighters. I'm still kind of old school guy where I, like Mike Short was saying too, I like close rounds. If it's super close and the fight's in the guy's hometown, give it to the hometown guy, because I think I think they should be a little more in tune with judging rounds according to how they should really judge them, because I don't think you can really influence them too much unless you're a promoter. If you're a promoter and you have a set of judges that you've picked for a certain fight and they pick the right guy, well, then you're going to the right fighter in for the decision, let's say, then you might have them, they just protect their income, and then that judge who judged and voted for the particular fighter, the next fight card that the promoter puts on might have that judge as a judge again, so they get paid again. So
Yeah.
I think it's still, if that's the sort of the question, I just think it's a little corrupt, which is really sad. But when you get some of these draws in Vegas and some of the tough fights like that, the only, and as a, like in terms of a boxing style, you never know what these guys want to see. They might really appreciate outside boxing. They may really want to appreciate an inside fighter. So you never know what the judges are going to like. So you can't please everybody. So you just got, in the fight, you have to just fight the way you are supposed to fight and not worry too much about trying to influence, and hopefully it goes your way and they're of the right state of mind and can judge properly.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? Or I don't know if I asked.
Yeah, totally.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
All good, man. How about you, Mike? What would be some of your points or tips?
Well, you know what? I think I was in the amateur game for so long, I had to actually adapt to the different systems. You know what I mean? Where we had kind of the 2019 rounds in amateur, and then after 92, it's all went to different rounds. 2 minutes, 3 minutes to 2 minutes, a number of rounds, and they changed the system. So you kind of had to adapt to the system all the time. And then they went to computer system, and it's so tough. And when you go over it, and you have 5 judges, and they each have a red and a blue button, depending on what corner you're in, and then you try to throw 5 or 6 combinations or whatever like that, bunches of punches, and they can't go like that, right? So, you try to just, settle down, make sure your defense is good, number one. And then, make sure you pinpoint that one shot, make sure that the 3 of the 5 judges can have to hit it within that second, and then maybe step back and regroup and do it again. Sometimes, if I was never a power puncher, so I had more finesse and try to target my punches. And I always aim for the top of the headgear, because you want that snap back and make sure, you're going to get that point, and then step to the side. Do it again. I knew I couldn't knock anybody out, so I was more of a point guy. So I'm the type of guy that would win fights 20-1 and stuff like that. And so you learn to adapt to the system for sure. And that's how you win fights, hit and don't get hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I never fought Mike under that circumstance or with those rules.
Right.
Sure, that was right after me, but But so that's almost a fight within a fight. Like you gotta worry
It is.
about the fight, and then you have to try to do what's going to bounce their head back. So, I mean, that's so hard. Just yeah.
Like some of the boxers were actually placing where they could get, the 3 or 4 judges and face, so they could face you and you're throwing the punch, which is so hard to do. I remember Russ
Yeah.
Amber talking about it in the
100%.
Olympics in Sydney. And it's like, man, you got enough to worry about. Now you got to worry about which place side you got to be in the ring, so you're more noticeable on judges. Like, wow.
Hey, buddy, stand right here. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
stand here.
Don't move. By the way. Don't move. Just stay right
Yeah,
there.
don't move. Just stay right there.
Yeah. No, right on. No, well put. Well put. How about you, Michael? Short. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about professional boxing,
Sure.
but it's going to relate amateur as well. Number one, look the part. If you walk in with a pair of bullet running shoes on with the Velcro straps and your trunks are from 1984, you look like the opponent. So look fabulous when you're entering the ring. Walk tall, walk with your head up. Be the boss in the ring, round for round. Even if you lost the round, be the boss in that round. Put your hands up at the end, like the way you carry yourself, the way you put pressure on. But always, 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 no matter what boxing you're doing, clean, easy to see punches from the outside, like Mr. Strange just said. If you shoot a jab and it snaps the guy's head back, that's a clean, easy to see punch that everybody can tell.
Yeah.
If you're just working on the inside, digging body shots and getting rough, and that's your whole thing, it's really difficult to judge that type of boxing. And, another tactic is always steal the last 15, 20 seconds of the round, last 10
Good
seconds.
point.
When you hear that clacker go, and it's been a competitive back and forth round, as soon as you hear that clacker, you jump on your guy, you land a 1-2-1, you land something fabulous that reminds the judges, and then you put your hands up at the end of that round. That's let's assume that it's not what Scotty is saying, that it's going to be neutral. The judges are going to say, oh, okay, red corner.
Yeah.
And always have a Filane
stuff,
logo
good
on
stuff.
your tank top or trunks too.
Keep it classy. That's
Always
right.
helps.
It's very good stuff. Yeah.
Right on, right on. And how about you, Dominic? What are your tips or perspectives on this?
Cash. Always
Cash.
cold hard cash. Never.
Buy them out first. I
Never.
like it. I like it.
But Mike Short said the right thing there too. You got to look the part. And being on the national team for a few times, we'd go to different tournaments and we had Fruit of the Loom tank tops. Just a regular Fruit of the Loom tank top with Canada on the back, just printed. Like we look like we just come out of, I don't know, a thrift store.
Walmart.
So once, that was a little bit of my motivation to get into the sportswear business or whatnot. So that we looked the part, and Mike is right, it helped.
Yeah.
Also, stealing rounds at the end, at the beginning of our careers, like Mike was saying, there was the 10-point must system or the 2019, whichever ones we were on, and you would try and steal the end of the round to sort of impress the judge. That was good. Also, like Mike was saying about finding the right spot in the ring, we used to have seminars. I don't know if Mike remembers them, like boxing would have our meetings, Boxing Canada. And we need you over here, we need you over there. And like you're all confused. You say, I just want to go in there and fight. So the point system took a lot of the influence away from any of the judges, because really none of them, you got 80-year-old guys, 75-year-old guys trying to use the Nintendo system to hit the red and the blue button, and they couldn't keep up. So there was a little bit of influencing, didn't really come into play once the computer scoring system came into play. But
Yeah.
These guys hit on a lot of the good points, so no sense repeating them.
Oh, right on, right on. And how about you, Ryan? Some points, perspectives, some tips?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Much like Mike Strange, I wasn't a big puncher, so I would just, if I was feeling good, I was like a roller coaster too, man. Like if I was having a good day, it'd be good, and I could definitely use a lot of feints to kind of attract the attention. Just try and take command of the ring with feints and lots of busy punches, right? And trying to feint and then land those clean right hands straight down the center, which are easy to see. And then, you know, on the days where I was like, you know, you just don't feel like it's your day, you know, those kind of days, I just tried to make sure I stepped on the gas. It was just like kind of like very simple, but just moving forward and throwing as many punches as I can. It was ugly, but it was, you know,
It got the job done.
well, sometimes. So yeah, no, I heard all those theories about like, you know, ring positioning and trying to get yourself into the spot where most of the judges can see you and all that stuff. But I never bothered with that, man. It was just, I tried to, again, I wasn't a huge puncher, but I punched a lot, and I would just like try and really get a lot of attention with that feint. You know, as I was feinting with the lead hand and trying to sneak in those straight punches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I did it.
That's a good one. And how about you, Joe? Any tips, perspectives?
Well, I certainly I didn't fight in the day when they did the you know, the Nintendo thing that you guys are talking about. Never fought in that day and age. But I just would never. I would never. That's not something I would think about. I wouldn't think about influencing the judges. I don't think about anything other than taking care of what I got to take care of. Because if I get, you know, caught up in getting the guy set up over here and getting I remember being in the fight and it's the end of the round. You know how I know? Because I see the guy go into his corner and the referee stepping in between him and I. So I knew it was because he hit me right as the bell rang. So I got my bell rung and I didn't hear the bell being rung. So it's like so, you know, things like that happen, and it's I don't know. If I don't take care of business and do what I need to do to I know how to fight, right? I know what I need to do to fight, and if I'm not winning and if I'm not doing well, somebody, I go back to my corner. They try to help me out. They try to tell me something I should do. I listen to them.
Yeah.
And as far as influencing the judges or anything like that, never is something I was ever concerned about. Although finishing around strong was always something my coaches would you know, say to me, is like, finish strong, you know. So that's all.
Marvin Hagler used to bring his own judges.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well
Yeah,
put.
Yeah.
Us little guys could
Yeah.
never knock anybody out, so we had to be cash.
Yeah, cash.
Pay him off. Pay him off. Well, hey, boys, it's great as always. And the show is almost over. Just like that, as always. Just flies by. This is our brief little Christmas edition, if you would, here on December 20th. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show again. Always a pleasure. Scotty and Mr. Mike Strange and Michael Short. And, of course, Dominic.
Eggnog for you guys.
Away. Ryan.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Right
And
on.
Merry Christmas from
everybody.
our family to
Christmas,
everybody's
guys.
family. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Right on.
guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
So see you guys real soon. And
Yes.
by the way, Knockout Show goes to be heard on the Barnburner Radio Network on 122 platforms. Please check out barnburner.ca for all the news. Barnburner, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
All right, Tom, get those
Has Fitz got his mic? Has
Yeah, I guess
Fitz-
some hats, man, for Barnburner hats. Thanks,
has
Dominic.
Fitz got his mic working yet?
Hook
Fitz
us
got
up.
his mic working yet?
Hook
We'll
us up.
get you that one.